Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Is Joffrey here? Or wait, what's his name? Jeffrey? Jonathan.
That was John.
It's Jonathan. Yeah, it was Jonathan. Or
Jonathan.
Jonathan. They spelled it weirdly.
Jonathan.
Is Jonathan here? It's really important that he's here. Jonathan! Yeah! They just run out the window. Oh my gosh, that was so good. That is a funny gag. It's really important that he's here. They just jump. I don't know. Fly, bird, fly. And we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
You took my quote, but I just love the bird's reaction as he's getting taken. He's like, oh.
He like comes to. I think he like passed out. That was great.
Well, and I love when he's telling the story too, and he's like, I feel like this part's really important that Jonathan's here. Like,
really important that Jonathan's here to hear this.
I like when he has to go back. And you're like, you went too far.
Yeah, he goes rehashes. Yeah, so I'm in love with my wife. He's like, no, you've already said all this part. And we've got Cameron Mickle on the podcast.
What's wrong with my lips? They're too big for your face.
And we've got Drew on the podcast.
My name's Vin. Sven's my brother.
That's right.
That's my brother. I like there's so many quotes. Like I was gonna say my favorite, he's like, okay, he's walking in a straight line, but there's a big boulder in front of him. Is he gonna walk around it? Is that nope, he's gonna go right over it.
Oh, yeah, talk about the perfect intro too. He like pulls little cat out of the fish and he's like
dude, I got super for Journey to the West vibes.
The West, yeah, that fish.
Yes, saving the kid out of the fish. Well, no, they never saved that little kid, do they? Or I can't remember. No, the kid gets eaten.
I think it just ate like 6 people.
Yeah, eats 6 people, but they like cure it.
Oh, yeah, she just jumps in there. She says, "Give me back my daughter," and then she starts swinging around.
Mom goes out. Yeah. Guys, today we are talking about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It was directed by John Francis Daley, who you may remember from Freaks and Geeks. He's the nerdy little kid.
Oh, really?
One of the 3 nerdy kids. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It's really funny to see him like directing now and writing. It's a really funny movie, but it's so funny about Dungeons and Dragons, which if he is like a geek like he claims to be, I'm sure that that's totally normal for him, right? Like he probably does really play in real life. But it's so funny because this guy also directed Game Night. Not Jonathan Daley, but Jonathan Goldstein, who also co-directed and co-wrote it with Francis Daley. So it's just fun to see them. Very comedic minds. Horrible Bosses, they're writers for that. Spider-Man Homecoming. So like they're very comedic writers, which I think really benefits this movie because it's so whimsical and kind of absurd, but like there's so many jokes you can do with fairy tales. So anyway, my first time seeing it was in the theater and I loved it. This is like top 10 movies I've seen this year in the theater. So right up there with, John Wick, and I don't know. I guess I haven't even seen 10 movies yet, so I probably shouldn't start that list. I was gonna say Evil Dead Rise would be on there and everything else. So anyway, how about you, Jordan? What was it like watching it for the first time? We were watching it for the podcast.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. Oh, well, I was actually planning on seeing it in the theater, but then it came on streaming. So I was like, I'll just buy it. And so that way everybody can watch it. And I'm glad I did because it's a fun one. I rewatched it with my wife for the second time. And yeah, it just kind of reminds me of Paddington 2, which is funny that it's the exact same villain.
Hugh Grant,
man. He's like one of my favorite villains now. He's so great.
Yes.
Like a perfect balance between like evil but like silly, like
like it's I want more actors and more quirky British actors to break out of their element and just be a villain like this. And you know what's great? Like a greedy villain. People love them in movies. We love villains, and Disney and Pixar, they've all done away with them. Now it's just generational trauma. Wow, compelling stuff.
I love when he's like, it's hot, and then like the witch like puts her finger, and he's like, oh, I didn't know you could put your finger in it.
I'll save that for later.
I'll save that for
later. Exactly. Oh man, but how about you, Cameron? What was it like watching it for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
Yeah, so watching it for the pod was my first time. Watched it with Drew, which made it that much more enjoyable. It's funny because Drew knows a lot about D&D. He was like mentioning little things like, oh, this is actually like inaccurate, or this is actually accurate to like the lore or whatever. And
Oh, so
yeah,
wait. I have never played D&D, so Drew, help me out here.
Well, I mean, we
Is there
have played
one lore,
a,
or are they just a bunch of different stories?
I like it that you talk like we've never played Futro Quest. Hello.
Is that
Are-
Dungeons and Dragons?
well, basically, I mean, it's not I didn't buy the books and we didn't I wrote my own stories.
Oh,
So
good. So we're a cheap knockoff. We're discount brands. Dungeons and
Well,
Dragons.
I would say D&D is more of an idea. It's like the concept of like telling a story and playing with friends. Like I think that's the idea of it. And basically like I prefer homebrew, so stuff that you guys have done on Futro Quest. Yes, it is kind of like there's lore to it, but it's all just up to whatever you want to do. It's kind of fun. I don't know.
Okay, so it's just like the discretion of the storyteller to kind of, and I'm sure there's like stories you can borrow from online or
Yeah.
like outlines
Yep.
and stuff. I figured as much. I can piece all this together pretty quickly, but I'm like, yeah, I feel like with the right group of friends, it's a very fun time, and storytelling aspect of it. But yeah, it is funny that it's like maybe it's had a revival since Stranger Things, but maybe it's always been the same. But I feel like everyone now plays D&D, or at least knows of D&D, obviously, because like I'm not sure how big of a marketing ploy like Dungeons and Dragons is, but Chris Pine obviously is a big, marketing ploy, and this movie just really works. It's really
well, I
good.
feel like it more now than ever though, the nerds are kind of like isn't
Out
that
of the
what Marvel
closet?
Taking
is?
over. Yeah, didn't
Yeah.
you see the end of Batman? A bunch of incels with rifles, man. They're just shooting up our politicians now.
Well,
They
they
pretty
only
much
shot
run
one
the show.
bullet. They only shot one bullet in that movie, and they
That's
missed.
right.
It's so annoying. I don't like that movie. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm torn. I probably have to rewatch it to make a final decision
Well,
because
everybody says
Drew,
it's so good,
I
and so
love
now
sharing
I'm
this.
like,
So
I need to rewatch
I'm
it
watching
too.
Batman. I know it's 3 hours long, and I'm watching Batman. I'm like just trying to get
I don't know
into
if
it.
it's
And my wife looks
I don't
over
know
at
if
me
it's
and she
worth
goes,
it to rewatch. 3 hours for a
"Oh yeah."
rewatch that mid movie? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So my wife looks over at
I would
me
imagine
halfway in and she goes, there is 90 minutes left of this. And I'm like, shut up, don't ruin this for me. Oh man. Yeah, she was not thrilled. But that was my movie. I chose. It's my turn to pick. So
That's okay.
anyway.
I put Tatiana through Beau is Afraid, and yeah, I felt bad about that one.
I want to talk to you about that after the this episode. I wanted to ask you about because I looked up the movie and I'm like, oh, is that what it's about? Ari Aster, you're insane.
Oh, wait, Ty, you haven't seen it yet?
Beau's Afraid? No. I was gonna pay to go see that unless I heard it was super duper good, and I haven't heard anything. I've heard a lot of people say it's like, not as good as Hereditary as all I've heard, and not as good as Midsommar. So I'm like,
It is, yeah. I mean,
yeah, well, there you go. So I'm like, diminishing returns. Like, why on earth? Like, what's to grab my attention? Then it's
It
like
might
it's
be slightly
lesser
less
the
traumatic though than Midsommar. So
less traumatic. Okay,
I'll never watch Midsommar.
yeah,
Never.
oh, so
disturbing.
good.
I feel bad. I exposed one of my buddies who like very rarely watches rated R movies, and then I watched that with him. And
Yeah, Midsommar is
the moment someone's head got smashed in, he was like, "Oh my!" I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
But yeah, let's get into two of your favorite things. All
Whoa,
right, I'm gonna take a
I didn't
call.
even finish what it was like watching for the
Oh
first
yeah,
time.
finish that
Or
and then get
Drew.
into two favorite things, Cam.
Well, Drew's got to do what it was like watching and rewatching. So for me, I was really surprised. I had pretty low expectations. I mean, Drew was like raving about it, and so that was obviously one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to watch it as well. But I still had pretty low expectations because I wasn't expecting a whole lot. And I was very satisfied and impressed at just how I feel like they did such a good job of. I feel like especially with franchises like this, it's just a really hard thing to try to balance the like the fan service, but at the same time a standalone film where like you can come in with no knowledge and enjoy it. Like the amount of people I talked to who'd never heard or like done D&D who were like, yeah, it was really fun. Like that for me, that's so impressive for like as a director to be able to make a movie like that where like someone can come in with no prior knowledge and enjoy it. So
Yeah,
it was fun.
Tatiana said the same thing, Cameron. She was like, at first she was pretty skeptical. She's like, oh, this is kind of like nerd stuff, not for me. But as soon as it got going, like she just connected with the characters. It's a really well-rounded story, and Chris Pine, man, he's great.
Kills it.
Yeah.
I watched it in theaters a few weeks ago. I think the first Tuesday after, or no, I saw it a week after it came out in theaters, and I loved it. I saw it with my mom, who also is not about nerdy stuff, but she actually really enjoyed it. And the following week I saw it in theaters again because I liked it so much. And then I saw it again with Cameron last week. I'm a big fan of it. It's just like I'm so impressed with its like rewatchability for me. Like it's just like it's so clever, it's funny, it's witty. Chris Pine was born to be a bard. It was just so good. Like if you know much about D&D, you know that like bards are like very charismatic and like just exactly who Chris Pine is. Like I just was so impressed. But like I was like Cameron said, I was just impressed with their balance in it. With the balance just in overall, like with its comedy and with its like story driven kind of idea. I like it's one of those movies I wouldn't change much about because I was very surprised with how accurate most of the movie was to like actual D&D if you played by the rules. But again, I was really impressed. It's like the even the setting is legendary, like with Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter and the Sword Coast. Like that's like it's a real place in D&D kind of. And so
Nerd.
it was just really cool to see. Like I wanted to see it one more time before it kind of cycled through the theaters, just so I can support it because I want another D&D movie because it was just so fun.
Yes.
Like I just enjoyed it. I liked the characters so much. Like what your wife said. Like you can connect with the characters so quickly. Like it's just they're fun. They're honest. They're real. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really liked it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many great moments with Chris Pine. You said he's just that kind of comedic relief. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get right into my two favorite things. Just like he has so many scenes and moments where I just like, I just really like, I just had a smile on my face the whole time. Like when she's like fighting the guys and they kept cutting to him, and he's like cutting, still trying to break free from
Oh, we
his.
got him now.
Yeah. I mean,
It's so fun.
just yeah, he's a perfect character, and I thought he really brought that to life. And then I enjoyed it. Wasn't like there was a lot of moments that I'm glad it didn't kind of take the cheap route. I felt like it kind of rode that good line between comedy and serious. Because there's a lot of moments where I'm like, oh, they could have like undercut a really good moment right now, but I'm glad they didn't.
Like Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh geez, yeah, so it was really nice to because yeah, that there's so much comedy, but at the same time it wasn't like it kind of it rode that line really well, and I feel like sometimes
I
you can
agree.
lean too far one way or the other.
I just like I appreciated how witty it was. Like that was something
Mm,
I feel like movies now like they kind of have a forced kind of comedy to it. But to me this movie
yes.
like it was very
It's
clever
called
comedy.
Disney Avengers Peter Quill syndrome. Everything
Oh,
just has to be
careful,
quippy, and
careful.
they have to undercut
Peter
very
Quill is great.
serious things.
Everybody else is not so much, but Peter Quill, I don't know. Keep him out of it.
Well, no, well, he came out of it. I'm saying
Especially
they're all
saying
imitating him. Yeah, I'm not.
everybody tried
He was
to
cool, and
copy
then
that.
I got
everyone,
it. My
or
bad.
even Iron Man. It was probably came from Iron Man. Let's be real. Like Peter Quill was Iron Man in the Guardians, and then Thor became Iron Man and Quill. Because like before he used to be the stoic character. Then he's like, oh, I'm all about undercutting serious moments with really funny humor.
Yeah, and we were
Involving
just
Sorry, I didn't mean
cancer,
to stop
stage
you.
4.
well,
That
I
was
was
my
just
best Liam
talking
Neeson.
about that, Ty. Like I felt like this
No, Liam
movie
Neeson. Liam
didn't
Hemsworth.
do that, which I'm so
Chris
glad it
Hemsworth.
didn't.
Yeah. It didn't feel forced. The comedy was actually very natural. That was a pretty good impression, though, of Chris Hemsworth, wasn't it? If I can get his name right.
Liam.
Is
Ty,
it? No, Liam is his brother. Chris Hemsworth is
That's
Thor.
Chris.
Oh, is it Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Stop
I
caring about your
outgeeked you. I outgeeked you,
poor
you
acting.
Dungeons and Dragons master man. I'm teasing you, Drew. I'm giving you a hard
Um,
time. I'm on one right
I'll
now.
I'll,
Keep
I'll
going.
get into my two
Yeah.
favorite things.
Yes.
I think my first favorite thing was I was glad that they addressed certain things like like potential plot holes or just like a lot of things that are usual plot armor. Like I love how they kept saying like just use magic. Because like that's how I feel like with a lot of like especially new Star Wars movies, like they just whip out like a random like force move, like Leia, who's like a force pull myself back into the ship. I'm like, what the
Whoa,
fuck?
don't you
Where was
dare
that when
insult the holy movie from our esteemed and sainted Ryan Johnson, the greatest
and
movie
like
director of all time.
for me when things like that, it's the same reason why I struggled just with sometimes with Thanos is I just struggle when like a superhero or a villain is so powerful but only uses the powers like when they're getting beaten. Like I'm like I don't understand that. But and so that's what I liked about this is it like addressed a lot of those questions that the audience was having. Like, can you just do magic? And he's like, there's limits to magic. I can't just like do magic. And I thought that was really clever the way they did like the portal. That
But the
part was
very
like
next scene, he's like, actually, that is something I can do with magic.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I can.
You can't bring
do
people
that.
back from the dead. Well, actually,
Actually. Which by that dead scene is my
Yes.
favorite of the whole
Oh,
movie. I want to
easily.
watch that movie. I keep showing people that scene over and over. It's so funny. It's a good
And
selling point.
and I
Does that
also
count
was
as one of the questions? Yes. No, that wasn't.
Why,
that wasn't
why did you say okay at the end of the question? I didn't. I love it. He's like, on the day of battle, he's like, and then I got out of the tub and I slipped and fell, and that's the last thing I remember. And it's
That's Ben.
the day
That
of
was
the
from my
battle.
quote. That was from my quote. Ben.
Oh, that was yeah, right. Okay, yeah. When he slips and falls, and he's like, that was my brother. Yeah, I just he died. He like before he's like on the battlefield, but he died getting out of the tub that morning. That's a very funny gag, like in and of itself. Like,
yeah, and kind of along those same lines, I think why the humor works so well is there's a lot of subverting of expectations, and I think that's what's great about this. Is like it takes a lot of fantasy tropes and kind of like turns them on their head. Just
that
like you
dragon.
guys mentioned, yeah, exactly. That is one chunky dragon.
It's great, dude. Love the fat dragon.
And so like things like that, I felt like subverting those expectations always was like, especially if you're coming into like a fantasy, like a nerdy film, to have those things kind of like switch just made it really enjoyable.
Because it's been done, like 50,000 times already. Like it just made it so fun to have it so like similar, like familiar, but different.
And you can want to do it too.
Oh yeah. My two. Let's see. I think the bringing the dead back was probably my favorite scene as well. That was just so funny. Like it just, I don't know. That was so funny, and like to do like the same thing.
Wait, I'm still alive.
Like 6 different people. Like it was just so funny. But I think
what's 2 plus 2? I'm not good at math.
I'm not too good at math. I think my 2 favorite things, Bradley Cooper's cameo was so funny.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude.
That was
Her
so
and
funny.
her like
Her and small
fascination.
people.
Her yeah. She listens.
So
I cried
funny.
every night you were away. So funny.
Weeping in the small hours. So funny. I was like that made my mom laugh, and so I appreciated that because Bradley Cooper's, I don't know. I just was not, that was the last person I'd expect to be in that movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Such a big
See,
actor for such a small part.
Yes.
Yeah,
And a
it was
funny
so
part
funny.
at that, where he's just like this
Yeah.
tiny,
He kills it
wee
too.
little.
And then we've already kind of touched on it, but I just really appreciated the somewhat accuracies to D&D itself. But I think what impressed me the most is like them making a plan, the plan not working out, making a new plan on the fly, and then that plan not making out, and like making another plan going back. Like that's
It's plan
like
C.
if you
It's just
played
plan A.
D&D, it's just that's exactly what D&D
D&D
is like.
That's cool.
You come up with these random like funny ideas that either work or don't work, and then you make a new plan and that ends up working and happens to work better, and like the DM kind of plays along with it. Like it was so impressive to me. And one thing in particular was like they were trying to figure out a way how to get what's her name, Kira, the Edgins or Chris Pine's daughter.
Yeah, daughter's name was
They just-
Kira. Yep.
Yeah, they were coming up with a bunch of different ideas,
They
and like
suck.
it was just so funny to have like
We could
like, a lot
fire
of
an
different
arrow
ideas
into
thrown
her
out.
window and possibly
Exactly.
kill my daughter.
So funny. And then the other thing, just real quick, was that like in D&D, there's a thing called nat ones or nat 20s. So like if you roll and it's a natural 20, like you roll and it's on a 20, like that's really rare and it's like really special. So you get like either critical hit points or like you like something really good happens. And then the opposite is a nat one. If that happens, something bad happens usually.
Roll
And
one.
they actually like had random parts in the movie where it was like they rolled a nat one or a nat 20, like things just worked out or they didn't. And
Yeah.
like one example was like when Chris Pine does like the bull thing with the stone dragon, and it runs through like the tarp or whatever, and then his legs get stuck in the rope. Like that's such a funny like nat one thing to do. Like it succeeds, but you get stuck and you end up taking, you know, hit points or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's just I was really impressed with the
It's like
accuracies.
Grant anytime he tries to get close, always
Yeah.
nat ones.
Yeah, all of his attempts to
And
do
Cameron
something
always
to-
gets a nat 20 somehow.
I always
Yes.
get nat 20 and get
I've
my
heard.
freaking bear.
I've heard that. The joystick
right.
bear.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Anyway, those are my two favorite or the things I appreciate the most.
Love it. Jordan, did you do your two?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'd say mine would be the callbacks. I think it's really fun when a movie has these really good callbacks. Like you mentioned Bradley Cooper being this small, kind of like a hobbit kind of creature, you know, just like a miniature person. And Michelle Rodriguez was making me laugh so hard at the end when the guy is reading from the scroll and they're awarding them their awards. Michelle Rodriguez just like looks at the small man reading the scroll and she like bites her lip. She's like,
Yeah.
it made me laugh
So
so
funny.
hard in the theater. I'm probably the only one laughing at that, but I thought that was such a funny callback where she just has a thing for small men. I just thought that was so
So
great.
funny.
And my second favorite thing was this movie just did a really good job at just it didn't have an agenda, maybe to make people think like Dungeons and Dragons is not such a weird and
It succeeded.
foreign thing only for incels, you know. It's like a really good fun story without like any agenda. At least it felt like it didn't have an agenda. I loved it. I'm like, golly, make more movies like this, please. Like turn my brain off, but like I was thoroughly entertained throughout. I was laughing out loud, and a lot of the times, yeah, like you said, Nat 1 and Nat 20. I think it's really interesting to watch like plan fail, and he even mentions it, right? He's like, I'm the plan guy, I keep coming up with plans. He's like, well, we already have a plan. So what is it that
Planning
you
got to stink on
it's
it.
like, hang on a second.
So
I
you
am
do.
very important to this team. It's like how I feel a lot of times when I'm playing like Warzone with friends or something like that, and they're just carrying me, and I'm like, I'm a very important. I contribute to this team, and then at the end, the dads come up, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get any kills or I didn't do any missions or anything, but I'm an important part of the team. At least I tell myself that, right? So anyway, that was really fun. Like yeah, when they mentioned magic, they did a good job at explaining what the limitations of it were, so it was believable. Like I could suspend my disbelief and just about everything. And they even said some things that I thought, yeah, were great, where it's like, I just need to sit down with Kira. And it made sense. Like she didn't annoy me, which I was so glad because I thought she's gonna be an annoying kid. I really liked Kira. I wanted Chris Pine to
I
get his
agree.
daughter back. And I love the Michelle Rodriguez, you know, thing where she's
He
kind
was
of
an
acts as
idiot to
Kira's
get
mom.
scammed by what's his name? God.
Sophina?
No, by
Kira
Bill.
being fooled by
Forge?
Hugh Grant.
Poisoned.
Yeah.
Oh, Forge.
I don't think she's an idiot for falling for it. Like her dad went to prison
Idiot.
for years and
Yeah,
is like,
her dad just disappeared.
yeah, she's been raised by no one except
She's
Hugh
loyal
Grant.
to no one. Are you kidding me? She spent her entire life with her dad and committing all these crimes, and then like he doesn't show up for 2 years, and she's just like, he
Was she
betrayed
committing the
me."
crimes? Was she committing the crimes?
Yeah.
No, she was just
Yeah.
there.
Oh, she was becoming. Yeah, she was turning invisible and then like helping.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then he said, "You can't come on
okay.
this last mission with me."
That's right. But yeah, at the end, he's like, you can't come. That's a good point. So she was doing the crimes. Huh.
Yeah. So when she was doing this, oh, holier than thou, I was like, you're literally a criminal. Let's settle down. She's like,
Get off your dang high horse.
You wanted to do it for unlimited riches? How dare you? I only do it for limited riches. I'm like, what is wrong with this chick?
I mean, I liked the Chris Pine where he was like, I was selfishly trying to bring your mother back, and I did abandon my daughter. I thought that was good. I liked it. But
I did wish one thing I would have changed. I wish he would have actually been going for unlimited riches and not the mom and just said that it was for the wife. I
oh
thought
my
that
gosh.
was really good.
But then they had to do it because they actually raised the stakes for this movie when Michelle Rodriguez's character is like lying dead with the arrow. the poison dart from the witch.
Red,
I thought
Red
that was
Wizard.
good. It raised the stakes of the movie, and I knew it was gonna come from a mile away, especially like I think it was like somewhere where they were like both she asked about her or something like that. I'm like, oh, I think I know how this is gonna end. But not like how it would all work out. But I was like, oh, perfect. She's poisoned by the thing. I'm like, he's gonna revive her. What was I saying?
Your
Yeah, yeah.
quotes.
Movie's great. Yeah, yeah, throw them out. I was gonna say, do you have a favorite character? I like the sorcerer. That worked for me because this kid kind of annoyed me from, was he in the Jurassic World movie or Jurassic Park? I can't remember.
Oh, I think he was.
I haven't watched anything since the first Jurassic World. So then again, I don't think he was in that one. I think he was in the sequel. But he's kind of like the annoying, scared of dinosaurs kid. But now, like, I liked his character in this one. I feel like they gave him something to work with, and I'm like, okay,
He wasn't.
not...
He was in Jurassic World.
Okay.
Thank you, Cameron.
He's also in Detective Pikachu.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Didn't see that.
Which
But
that sucked.
okay, so he's 2 in 1.
I was also very worried about his character because I saw like some of his jokes in the trailer, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be one of those annoying kind of
Yeah.
characters. But I also thought he was really funny.
Yeah, he did a good job at. I liked that he was a thief. I actually liked that because I wanted to, because I was worried he's like this goody two shoes guy, but like when you meet him, he's like doing magic, like lame magic, but you find out he's robbing everyone. I'm like, that's funny. That's a really good subversion because his magic's like he's like a failed magician, but he knows enough to like steal from people. That's funny. I love it. And then you know, him confronting his dad or whatever, or like his great ancestor, his that was a good wizard, and he had to live up to expectation, learning how to use the helmet, you know, getting past the um what's it called,
The door.
he's like the keeper, yeah, the magic of the door or whatever. Yeah, see, I'm not nerdy enough for this. Yeah. Dark magic.
He's got a bunch of spells, by the way. It's not just like his thing. Sorry.
Yeah, like the what was it called, here to there stick or whatever,
Hither thither.
hither thither. Yes, I thought that was really fun. It's like Portal, you know. Hey, there's a nerdy game. You guys ever play Portal? It's like Lemmings, and you just use a portal gun to like complete puzzles.
Oh, can we just said that word, bro?
It's a good game, dude.
I know. I just remember watching you and Jordan play it for like 7 hours straight.
Those were the days, man.
That and Worms. You guys used to play nonstop.
Oh yeah, dude. Armageddon. It's good stuff, dude. All right. Any other, yeah, I was gonna say quotes or just as you think of them, call them out. This movie, it pulled a lot of things. Like I thought it was like better than Maze Runner, but it had like the maze, and actually the maze made me think how much better Harry Potter 4 could have been.
I thought about Harry Potter 4.
Anyone think that? And like, wow, Harry Potter 4 used a bunch of dark bushes and hedges, but like just have one tiger. That's all you need, is just one tiger sphinx with the, it just makes it the stakes so much higher. That's all I'm saying.
I loved that scene too. I thought it was really fun. And they actually, again, they touched on things that are in D&D, like actually like a mimic. Like, so I was just so impressed with it. I think the entire
acid
movie
jello
to me,
funny.
Yeah. Gelatinous cube.
Gelatinous cube.
Sorry.
Get it right, Ty.
My bad, Ty.
Excuse me.
Sorry. I don't mean to do that.
No, Drew, if you don't correct Ty, our commenters will.
Yeah, please say it. Yeah, I'll be like, could you get someone that's actually played the game to comment on the movie?
I think the whole movie is so easily quotable. Like it's something that like I could quote on the level of Hot Rod. Like it's just like things are so easily quoted. Hey, I'm not saying it's at that level yet.
I am green with jealous rage right now.
I was impressed with how many quotable quotes there could be.
Pools are great for holding water. No, I think it's great. You're right though. Like I do want to go back and watch it because not only for like certain scenes, but like I was literally thinking in my mind, I'm like, I want to show my kids this movie. And I'm like, okay, there's a few people that like melts that could be a little bit much, but like this is a very fun and endearing movie. Like it wins you over, even if like I said, I've never played D&D other than Jordan's telling me we play every week, and I didn't know that that's what D&D was. I always thought it was a board game, but now I'm understanding it it's a little bit more storytelling, but then there's like a, you know, stories that you can pull from it.
You can have board game elements to it.
Got it. Okay. So kind of an
You
open
can't escape
world
the
storytelling.
die. You can't escape it.
I know. I'm like, one of us. I love it. I'm not trying to hide the fact, but like to me, it's like I don't even know. Like if I were to sit down with a group of friends, be like, all right, let's do this. I wouldn't know what to say or what to do or anything. I'll be like,
Well,
okay,
you
somebody
watched
else take over.
Community, Ty. You watched the episode where Pierce is playing. Remember the evil
Yeah,
villain?
I even tried to listen to like Harmontown with Dan Harmon.
Harmon Quest, Ty.
Excuse me, Harmon Quest. Yeah, and I remember thinking like, I think it's cool that there's
It's
this
so
whole thing
good.
out there. And I feel like to me, it feels a little bit like sports. I love playing with friends, but I don't think I could watch other people playing it. Maybe if there was like good friends with them, maybe, but like I'd probably want to be playing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't find it entertaining. But that's just how I view it.
Yeah.
So, yes, the whole the poor undead guy that they asked 4 questions, like that's 4 questions. I'm still here. And at the end of the movie, post-credit scene, that's a great post-credit scene. It's just like, I'm still here, please. Like, I'm what to do. I just thought that was funny. Because I've always stayed for the end of credits to listen to the movie score to, I don't know. I used to
stay away from your children and responsibilities.
Yes, I'd be like, just let it. And you have to sit and at the end of a movie, you have all the credits to talk about what you just watched. That's a very important part of the movie. And we're just like, oh, let's get out of here. I'm like, wait, I have to like talk about it. So anyway, that's what credits are for, folks. Besides, is it too much to ask that you memorize all the names of all the people that worked hard on making a movie? So anyway, love this movie. Any other quotes? I love the callbacks, like I said, when Hugh Grant then takes Jonathan and tries to throw him out the window and they replaced it with a brick wall. That was very funny. Sophina, she played a dastardly witch. I thought she was great.
She's scary too.
And Holga, Michelle Rodriguez plays a bad A woman, female character, and it doesn't annoy me because I'm like, yeah, that woman could probably beat me up. Like she's tough. I like her character, and I'm like, that's how you do. And you know, it was so amazing. They gave her a character flaw where she drove Bradley Cooper away with her drinking, and I'm like, I really like this character because she's imperfect. And then she learns to conquer her demons and becomes a whole character, not one-dimensional or even two-dimensional. She's a well-rounded, interesting character. And I'm like, please take notes, folks. This is how you make a compelling, strong female lead. And she was. There's a great scene where Chris Pine is like trying to get his bands off his arm, and he's like, and she's fighting all the people. But then it wasn't even like, oh, he's scared to fight. As soon as he gets up, he like clotheslines a guy, which was totally fine. But it's a funny scene where he's like trying to get free from his bands, and he's like using the sword, using the stairs, and he can't get free. And he's like, okay, and he's like coaching. I just thought that was really funny. It's really funny.
Well, I like the subversion of just like them choosing to bring her back to life when he could choose his wife, because you know, you have the flashbacks of the daughter, like, oh, this was the woman that raised his daughter, which is really cool. That I wasn't expecting that. So I was like,
and the
Did you
little
cry,
blue
Jordan, did you cry?
dragonfly. Yeah.
I was a little upset that I cried. I was like, why is this movie making me cry?
Jordan cried in Dungeons and
I
Dragons.
teared up a little bit.
I know.
You're like, I'm so lonely.
And it was on the second.
Nothing, Jordan.
It was on the second viewing too. I was like, gosh, dang it! It got me again.
No, it's sweet, and I think the dragonfly is a good metaphor where the wife lets it out and is like, let it be free, and I'm like, it's a metaphor. Chris Pine needs to let her know, because and actually I remember now when I knew that it was going to happen was when the sorcerer, or no, it was Zenk, what's his name? The cool bad A perfect hearing, what's his name, doesn't move out of the way of boulders.
An awesome NPC, by the way.
Oh, he was one of my favorites. Awesome. He's actually he's a great character.
Another history lesson.
He tells Chris Pine, and he goes, hey, she's in another realm, and to call her back, that's immediately when I was like, they're teasing, he's not going to bring his wife. But see, I was like, he's going to learn that he doesn't need to bring his wife back. Like, he's going to, like the Indiana Jones moment, that's what it was going to be. It was going to be, Indy, let it go. There's going to be that scene. And it was, oh, Michelle's injured, she's going to need the magic instead of his wife. But I pieced it together at the ending right when he said that, because I was like, ooh, the soothsayer's smart. What's his name? It starts with an Xenk. Zinc.
I think
He
it's
was great.
Yeah,
That was a
Zang-
funny character. He's
Yeah.
so perfect. Super hearing. I hate him. I hate him
It's
so
just
much. He says under his breath.
I
so fun. He was
I
great.
I courted you at one point. Like she couldn't even recognize him. That's how
Yeah.
pathetic he was.
That's right. And at
Made
the
you
end,
feel
he's like,
bad about
yeah.
yourself. Not anything I did, but just who I was.
I love at the end too, where he's like, "Do you want to, after all this, you want to like go out again?" And she's like, "Sure." And he's like, "Really?" She's like, "Tone it down." He's like, "Okay, really." Oh, that was funny.
This next trick doesn't hold a candle. And he just like has a little light.
I love too with the one of my favorite moments. It kind of had like an Ocean's 11 Logan Lucky heist kind of feel. Mission
Like getting the
Impossible vibe.
team together.
Yeah, yes. I thought yes, getting each of the members.
That was a
in
great
classic hits.
heist scene. I love that.
Yes. So that was the other thing too, where you said roll the perfect 20 and then roll the one. I love that.
When he's holding the guy's feet underneath and then the
It was
guards
so
look
fun.
up
Yes.
and she's like holding two
Yeah,
legs.
she's got like a wheelbarrow. Oh, they're all just looking at her. I thought that was really funny. And then yeah,
So
it was
clever,
great too. Even the
Clever.
moment where the portrait falls over, the whole heist like that they spent, it like failed almost, or it seemed to fail. And I loved that. I thought that was, it just made me like, oh, I don't know where this is going now, because they led you down this path, but then like, okay, we'll innovate. She still ended up, chipping away and able to getting under the space. But I just thought that was really clever that the whole heist scene for this carriage, I thought that was really well planned out. I thought it was fun. Chris Pine laying in the road under a pile of leaves. I just love that kind of stuff, like Rambo style, super fun. But golly, take note. I just hope that enough people support this. Is it doing well? I have no idea. Do people go see this movie? I hope they do.
It has
I saw
good
it twice.
reviews.
It's got amazing reviews. That was part of the initial thing. And then my initial hesitation was only when I watched the graveyard scene. There was like part of a promo trailer. He does the whole 5 questions to the first guy. They basically get no information from him. And that's just a funny scene. But I was worried like that was the funniest part of the movie. Then I was pleasantly surprised. And then to come to find out that the graveyard scene goes on for longer and it's even funnier than I imagined, like that was awesome. Because I was worried, like, yes, again, that would be done. They keep taking up person after person, desecrating all these graves just to ask 5 questions, and most of them are like, I don't have the information that you need, and they just keep having to dig up more graves. That's just very funny. Like, oh gosh. That was, he understands me, right? Yes. Oh wait, that doesn't count as a question. Does that count as a question? Yes. Don't answer me unless I talk to you, okay? Yes. It's like, why did you say okay at the end? I did it. And he dies. That is so funny. That is the funniest run of this movie. And I will quote that endlessly, because that is a funny 5 questions. Because and before he even said it, I was literally just like biting my nails in the theater, because I was just like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill him. They're not going to get the information. They're going to fail at this point. And that's why I was so relieved when they started opening up all the other graves. It just opened up for more hilarity. But yeah, that was really a joy to watch. And then I would say the only thing, well, it doesn't feel tacked on because they did tease it, the witch. I mean, it reminded me of the Avengers when Hulk smashes the owl creature, the animal. She just like takes the witch and just starts bashing her around, starts pummeling her into the ground, and just throws her against the wall, and she like unceremoniously hits the wall, falls down, and Rubble just crushes her. It's like, she's probably dead. I just thought that was really funny. Like, no sequels, no mention, because I thought with the title Honor Among Thieves, like
they're gonna make a second one. That's what I thought.
Is that, yeah, but like I'm sure they could, like maybe they wanted to see how it would perform, but I'm almost like, I guess the next movie is called Dungeons and Dragons and it's a new story, or does it still follow the same characters?
I don't know. I would be okay with that.
You can tell millions of stories from
That's what I was thinking. I was like, just keep making these fantasy movies. This is great, because like this is what I wanted Willow to be, right? Like the new TV show. I wanted,
because the original's great.
No, the original's fine. It's just where it is. But I wanted like
Original's weird as shiz. Don't.
it's so weird.
So good.
Not all things hold up. Like the brownies, man, still cringeworthy. But whatever. It's fine. It's fine. That's
I
George
hate
Lucas
brownies.
writing for you. That's George Lucas writing for you. But
love it all.
I think it's just so nostalgic, Jordan. You just look past all the terribleness of.
no, let's
It's
just be
so
real.
good.
Val Kilmer carries that. Kind of like Chris Pine. Well, I'd say Chris Pine doesn't necessarily carry this. I thought he would be the one, but everyone else did a really good job. Like everyone in this movie, no one annoyed me. In fact, I was trying to anticipate who would annoy me the most. I would argue the It girl, what's her name? Sophia Lillis playing Doric's character, the animal changer. But no, she never got on my nerves. I was just waiting for it, but she never did. It was just fine.
I couldn't tell her age. She like looked like a 14-year-old and a 26-year-old at the same time. I'm like, how do you look like a teenager and an adult at the same time? I don't understand. I think it's also like the elf ears just makes me think of Santa Claus, like the movie with all of the elves that work. Yeah,
or the horns. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know what age you are.
I
because that's why for her love interest, I'm like, is he much younger than you, or is he much older? Like,
it's true. What is his name? Justice Smith. Yeah, Simon's character. He looks like a child. He's probably older too than her, but he just looks like a child. He's got one of those baby faces. So, but oh boy. And again, Hugh Grant reminded me of Jack Horner from Puss in Boots and The Last Wish. Just bring back selfish, egomaniac characters that like so short-sighted too. Like everyone's gonna die at the stadium and become undead, but he's like, I got my riches on this boat. Like that, I love that. It's like, where are you gonna go spend that money? It's great. I love that. And he just sells the entire town downstream, down the river, just so he can enjoy all his riches. That's very funny. And then they end up using the money to lead everyone away from the stadium, which I thought was really funny. So good.
Yeah, I did like that shot where it's like everybody was full in the stadium and it started to release the gas, and then 2 seconds later they're like out of the stadium. Like, I was like, wow, they got out quick.
They did, dude. That's because there's money in the streets, Jordan. Everyone
that's right.
cleared out, dude. I was like, there's money falling from the heavens. Falling out of Hugh Grant's mouth out of the hot air balloon. It was really funny. Well, golly, guys, would you recommend this movie?
It's a family film.
Heck yes, everyone should go see it. I love this film. It's lovely.
Family film, except for maybe 10 and under.
I know. I'm thinking there'll be a few kids that'll watch what someone gets burned in acid or something in this movie. What happens? Someone melts or something, right? I remember being like, it's pretty horrific fantasy action stuff, but it's no worse than Harry Potter. Try watching Harry Potter with the 4-year-old.
It's way more child appropriate than the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh boy.
I've actually heard some things about Guardians. We'll have to talk about it after. But we end every movie podcast. We share movies that we've seen lately, movies we're looking forward to. Drew, how about you start us off? What have you seen lately, and what are you looking forward to?
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy last night. Actually, pretty good. I was a little surprised. It's like the first Marvel movie I've seen in theaters since Infinity War, I think.
It looks like this one has a case of superhero fatigue.
It very much was. Maybe just Marvel. I've not been impressed with Marvel. But I really
neither have I.
And yet Tice keeps going to see him.
No, that's not true. I haven't seen
and
Guardians.
Watch She-Hulk, dude.
And Black Widow.
I've already told you I dropped off. I couldn't keep watching it. It was so painful. I could feel my IQ points lowering.
Dropping.
and fast.
What else have we watched?
Barbarian.
We're halfway through her.
I don't know how to feel yet about it.
Her or Barbarian?
Oh, they started her, and then I drove down and watched Barbarian with Cameron and Drew.
Yeah.
No, Jordan taped our eyes open and made us watch Barbarian.
I brought it up. I'm the one that brought it up. I liked it. I really liked the scare aspect when you didn't understand who it was or what the actual scary thing was. I liked the build up on that movie quite a bit. They kind of mess with you, like the tension. They kind of mess with you, and that probably was my favorite part.
That is a well done horror movie. I liked it.
I'm not. I'm not one.
I could have
much for
done
horror,
without the bodysuit though.
The old woman.
The fake old woman body was weird as shit.
I loved it, dude. Oh my gosh, so creepy. It literally it reminded me so much of Don't Breathe. Both of them have a scene, and you know which scene from
100%.
both movies
the
I'm talking
milk?
about. The milk bottle and a turkey baster.
And the turkey baster, yeah. Both were equally
baster.
Both were equally as traumatizing.
Yes.
Now
both
the turkey
scenes.
baster is way worse.
More traumatizing, yeah.
Yes, for sure. But that dude being in
both
that
had
situation,
a little hair on it, just like the bottle had like a little hair on it.
He's like, is that a hair on it?
Drink it. Both of these directors know that like everyone's true horror is body hair that is unidentified. Like everyone knows.
Just
those are the
on
two
it, dripping.
scariest things. They need to put more body hair in horror movies these days. That's what was missing from the Evil Dead.
Yeah, should they?
Should they? No, it works. It's effective. That's all I'm saying. Love it. What are you looking forward to?
Ghosted.
Real quick. Oh yeah, I saw Ghosted. The absolute most decent movie I've ever seen. It is a movie. That is it.
Had a character, had plot. And,
Cameron, it had Ana
movies.
de Armas. She couldn't even save it, huh?
It didn't even look like her.
Dude, she must have got some like plastic surgery done to her face because she looked like this. Hey, so what's going on, guys?
Oh, really?
Like, Ghosted?
She probably had Botox or something, or like
yeah.
Ghosted.
She's like 20 years old. She did not get Botox. Slow down. She just looked different.
I'm telling you, watch the movie. She does not look like Ana de Armas.
Wait, like, Ghosted? What is this
got,
one?
Like, clone. She's like a clone. It's an Apple TV Hollywood
movie with Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
It's okay. Super mid. But the other one that
I did see the ad for that. Yeah,
a 16-year-old with wrote the script.
It was
or in other words, AI. I think is what you're referring to, Cameron.
Yeah.
Also, another one I watched was Grand Budapest Hotel, and I gotta say, I don't understand the hype with Wes Anderson. Like
100%, 100%. Thank you, Drew. Say it louder for Jordan to hear.
I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. That is a great movie.
I love Fantastic.
That is a great movie.
Yes, Wes Anderson's made 3 good movies.
I don't understand why everybody is raving about Wes Anderson. Like, I appreciate his appreciation for style. And like color, like the use of that
but
stuff.
Doesn't that have to do with more like he's a director, but like it's probably his set designer or someone else that does all that hard work to make everything look beautiful, and the cinematographer has nothing to do with Wes Anderson.
I don't know why everybody
watch Bottle Rocket. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. Just another movie that I've seen that was talked about and was not impressed. Just like La La Land.
And now it's so sad because after you took all this time to watch this important movie, you're like, and no one in the world is here talking about it. You're like, exactly. I have no one to talk to about this movie.
I liked it. I thought the second one was, I mean, watching it the second time was really great. The first time I didn't like it. Second time.
There you go. So you didn't like it, but yeah,
I liked it the second time.
I will say I like Ralph Fiennes. I like him as an actor.
I do too.
And I like that one scene where he runs from the cops. That was funny. That made me laugh out loud. But I was like, you also showed that in the trailer. Note, when you take the best scene. Yeah.
If it was an hour and a half, it would be a much better film. But 2.5 hours, I'm like, you don't deserve the 2:34 runtime.
I feel like
it felt self-grandizing a little bit.
Things would just like stop, and like there would be no like characters would just die, and I'm like, they're gone, like they're done, like, but it would only show the dead body for like half a second, and I'm like that's what I mean. It's like I wish every scene, every major scene or like important.
I've got a good movie to recommend to you, Drew. If you haven't seen No Country for Old Men.
Seconds. What is it?
You should watch No Country for Old Men.
I love that movie.
Okay, you just said you only see the body for a second. I'm just thinking of Josh Brolin.
That was very. I agree.
But there's a reason for it, dude. I know
it's one of the dumbest movies he ever saw. After that scene, he's like, I hated that.
Oh, dude, me and Grant need to watch it again. He needs to understand it. It's now climbed to my top 10. Everybody, I have an important announcement.
That movie's so good.
The No Country for Old Men is now in my top 10 movies of all time. I don't know why it ever wasn't there. I've watched it more than all my other movies on my top 100, and it just kept climbing. And it's not recency bias. I think it's a perfect film. It's crazy. Finally happened. But I did call it. The
I've
Coen
watched it
brothers
10
are
times
my
in the
favorite
past week,
director.
but it's not recency bias.
Well, is it recency if I watch it every week? I literally watch the movie once a week now. It's bad. And I watch like millions of YouTube videos about it. It's insane. I have a problem. Cameron, are you watching anything or seeing anything lately and looking forward to anything?
Yes, I watched Ghosted, and that's what that movie made me do the entire time.
What a snooze fest.
I actually did give it a 3 out of 10 because I actually was laughing so much. Probably unintentionally. I don't think the intent in a lot of that scenes were to make me laugh, but it's kind of like a Wonder Woman 1984 where I was just having a ball listening to the writing, the dialogue. I'm like, bro, there's no way this got put on on the writer's room floor and nobody was like, hey, this kind of sounds like robots, that don't actually know how to communicate, because it would be like,
Cameron's like, did this come out after the writer's strike that's going on right now, or this before the writer's strike?
Yeah, seriously, because it's just terrible dialogue. It's just like, Ty, you should give me that. I'm not gonna give you that, Cameron. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, how is this a multi-million-dollar budget? This is insane. And then I watched
was Chris Evans or Ana de Armas magnetic though? Did either of them do anything to?
Chris Evans is kind of fun.
Funny.
It's because it's a very different role. He's it's funny just because he's a super clingy kind of boyfriend, because they go on one date and then he texts her 12 times and sending emojis, and and then he stalks her. He's pretty funny, but yeah, I don't know. It's like reverse Killers except worse, which is pretty hard to do that.
Killers with Katherine Heigl
Ashton
and
Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, so just imagine that movie, Ty, but worse. Imagine that movie with 3-year-olds writing it. So yeah. And then I've been addicted to Ted Lasso. I rewatched all of season 1 and 3/4 of season 2 with Grant and Elise in 2 days.
Isn't that good? If I watch the pilot, have I already seen the whole show though? Or...
Okay. No. Season 1 is lightning in a bottle, and it's literally perfect.
Yeah.
Season 2, I think, is a solid. I would say 7.5, 8, 8 out of 10 TV show. But season 1 is lightning in a bottle. It's literally perfection. I could rewatch that every single day because there's literally no flaws about it. But yeah, season 2 after it's kind of it ebbs and flows a lot, but episode or season 1, they're the worst episodes I saw, I gave 8 out of 10. And then
I agree. The first season's solid.
I feel like they're making a Ted Lasso movie with Michael Fassbender. Taika Waititi's directing it. It's he's a failed coach or something, and he's gonna go. It reminds me of Cool Runnings meets the Ted Lasso, but look it up. It looks kind of quirky and fun. I mean, I prefer Taika Waititi getting out. I don't know. Maybe out of his bubble. Maybe it's not. But it basically seems like. Yeah, just like I said, he's Michael Fassbender's helping a soccer team that's awful and never won any games. It's like Little Giants or whatever. Crunch your puff, wimp.
And then I also watched the Untouchables, which is the French film of
I watched
The Upside.
What'd you think?
It's so good. It's way better than The Upside.
I figured as much. That's why I haven't seen it yet. I love Bryan Cranston. I love Kevin Hart. Well, no, that's not true. I don't really like Kevin Hart. I also don't like The Rock at all.
Well,
I don't like either of them. Central Intelligence was dumb. I want my money back.
There was weird creative decisions made for The Upside where they changed really random things that I didn't like. For example, so in the movie, Ty, how he doesn't meet her that first time because he never sent the picture of himself.
Mm-hmm.
In The Upside, he meets the girl that he's been writing, and she's like, I can't do this, and she abandons him. And she
didn't like the fact that he's a quadriplegic.
Yeah, she's like, I thought I could do this. No, she knew that. She's like, I looked you up before this anyway. But yeah, really weird.
Sounds like the same thing about that one guy that tried to kill himself. What was that one movie, Cameron, you had the hardest time with? the guy in the wheelchair and he decided to kill himself.
Oh my
that?
gosh, Me Before You. I
Me
have a
Before
problem
You.
with that
That's
movie.
that's what I
Yeah,
was.
it's me. I
No,
fucking hate that
I think Me
movie.
Before You
The
is
woman's
fine,
like, I
dude.
love you. And she met him after he was in a wheelchair. And he's like, I'm killing myself. And it's like, I guess I'll go
Yeah.
on and be
See,
good.
you're
And
just
I'm
like
like,
you're just side. All you see is from the perspective of her, and you're like, you gotta show her love, bro. If I was living in that much pain, I'm saying adios.
assuming he's in pain, he's got a beautiful girlfriend that walks into his life like movie.
No, but yeah, The Untouchables is super good. The
Super
performance
good.
by what is his name? I'm probably gonna butcher it.
He looks so
Omar
much like Dustin
Sy.
Hoffman. Do you think he looks like Dustin Hoffman, Cameron? It's
Oh,
literally
oh,
Dustin Hoffman's
yeah.
look-alike.
Um,
Great
but
movie.
no, Omar Sy, the black, like the African
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
so good. His performance was amazing,
It was great.
and he's like, I don't know, he's just like so charismatic. It's crazy,
Dude,
and
his
then
dance, I loved it, dude. I wanted to get up and dance. I was watching it on a
I
plane.
love him just like every Earth, Wind, and Fire song, and he has like
Yes, he
playing
plays Earth, Wind, and
whatever.
Fire.
Oh,
It's so
oh,
cute.
he's
And
so
yeah, they
good.
all did. And he's like singing.
Um,
He's a French actor, and he's singing. He's like, his singing English makes me laugh. And I'm sure
Yeah.
it's how we sound when we try to speak any other language, but it was
Sing other
so
languages,
funny to
yeah.
him
No,
singing
he did so
Earth, Wind,
good.
and Fire. So funny.
Yeah, I want to rewatch it because I'm considering putting it in my top 100.
Yeah, very
super
sweet
good.
film. Absolute feel good.
I just worry with feel good movies. I always initially I'm like, oh, top 100. Then I rewatch it. I'm like, it's actually not a perfect film. It just made me feel really good.
Yeah, it's a good film. I can't knock it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like, it's a masterpiece. Mwah.
Yeah. And then I did watch Barbarian. Man, that is some of the cinematography and the directing, like that was some of the best like intense scenes I've ever seen.
I'd
And
say
there
for the
was
most part,
multiple
smart
times
horror
where
movie
me and Drew were
decisions
like,
for a lot of
and like,
it, but bad horror movie decisions too.
Yeah.
Right? It had both,
yeah,
but
yeah,
really good ones too,
yeah.
which I like.
Like, but some of them pissed me off. We kept saying that girl deserved to die after the fact that she went back
You
to
kept
this
saying
place.
100%.
Bro, she deserved to die. I'm like, you left in your car and you, especially after that comes running after her. Don't come in that house. Come here. I'm like, you don't think you could have done like a more controlled, like, hey, ma'am, excuse me, don't go in the house. There's someone who's gonna kill you. Instead, he's like, looking like a serial killer.
Hey, you. Hey, he's a homeless man. He doesn't have really good people skills, Cameron. All right.
Oh man, dude, it's just like Ben Affleck and Gone Girl. I'm like, you cannot act more guilty than this, dude. Chillax. But yeah, I gave it a 5. Some of, I mean, the smashing his head in the tunnels was kind of traumatic for me. I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't a big
intense.
fan of the
It was
Monster.
It was nice seeing Bill Skarsgård not being a bad guy.
yeah,
100%.
Really happy that
which I have to say, I love that casting because I was just watching. I was like, give me any, and they
He's
did
the
so
bad
many
guy.
good
He's
moments
gonna
where
kill
they
her.
were like, hey, I didn't open it. Like,
Bro,
he's obviously
like,
referencing like it could be drugged, and he was just saying all the things. And then even like with the sheet on him, I was like, he's gonna like attack her, or he's gonna. So like there were so many scenes where I was like, oh, it's gonna go, and then it didn't, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they just keep dragging it out, and I loved it.
Especially when he got her drunk, I was like, oh no, he's gonna ask her to like do something. Like, oh, can you just go downstairs and grab something for me in the basement and then lock her? But no. And then especially when she was like, I'm trapped down here, I thought he'd be like, oh, I'll come around and help you. But he actually like came around to help. I was like, oh, okay. And then I watched Bad Boys, which I actually really enjoyed. I was surprised.
The first one,
First one's great.
Yeah,
yeah.
First one's good. Second one's also really good. I like them both for different reasons.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was like a really clever, and I appreciated how Tia Leone, or however you say her name, how she like, you could tell that she'd figured it out like halfway through the movie that the people were actually reversed just because of their personalities. And so it kind of, in a very weird way, it kind of reminded me a little bit of White Chicks, of just like those awkward positions where like, oh yeah, I'm a smooth guy. She's like, then why are you so weird like with me? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know, Lawrence plays Big Mama, right? That's what I think of. Yeah, so Black Chicks. That's funny that you think of that.
Really?
I can't see anything else other than Big Mama, Big Mama's house.
That's funny.
You know?
But yeah, and then just watched Guardians of the Galaxy last night, and I was very, very impressed.
The movie's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it went by really quick. Man, Rockets. This is the first movie that I actually like felt emotional of Marvel, maybe since like Infinity War or Iron Man. Like it was
Iron Man
amazing.
1.
Yeah, Iron Man 1. Like
Yeah, Cameron's
it was
crying.
really good.
Tony Stark, I can't feel my legs. Or it's cold. It hurts. I'm like, he's a multi-billion-dollar franchise. They're not gonna let him die. Everybody stop crying.
I felt too.
No, I'm teasing you, Cameron. It got you in the feels. It did.
And then we've watched half of Her. I'm really interested to watch it now with my current life circumstances to rewatch Her. I'm like, I can relate a little bit more now to Joaquin Phoenix.
But not from Beau is Afraid. Jordan, I have to know. Dude, Beau is Afraid. What is your review? Cameron, Jordan, tell me, because I'm not gonna see it, I don't think.
You can listen to it.
You guys reviewed it already?
Yeah, in depth.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Yeah, we did.
Am I not subscribed to Futro?
You don't even listen to your own
pod.
pod.
I did see the thumbnail, but I guess I didn't realize that you'd already reviewed it. So okay.
And the only one I'm looking forward to, I just want to finish Ted Lasso, finishing Her, and then I want to rewatch Marriage Story considering my circumstances. Because I thought it was okay the first time I watched it. Like I thought it was really good, but I just like didn't relate at all. So I was kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marriage Story was good.
Anxiety.
I remember liking it. It kind of felt more like a courtroom noir, which
you
I
liked
like.
it?
I got very emotional in that one.
Yeah, Marriage Story was good.
That fight between Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. That scene.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
I'm gonna burn through my list really quick. I saw a documentary called Spaceship Earth. Very interesting documentary. Not one I really recommend.
Come on, Jordan, convince me. You gotta sell it.
I watched the TV show Beef, which I enjoyed.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. So yeah, okay, I do want to check that one out.
Yeah,
Steven Yeun.
It's good.
No, Steven Yeun. He's like one of my favorite upcoming actors right now.
Yeah,
he's in there.
Great.
Yeah.
And A24, man, they just produce good content.
Well, and he it's like about road rage, or at least that plays a part in the story, right?
That's a small part of what's a bigger story.
Story. Okay. But I do want to see it just because I feel no road rage and I drive a lot. So I'm fascinated by people that actually have this.
Oh, I get road rage all the time. I've finally started to tone down my road rage. Cameron's the worst. Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron.
I'm surprised.
He's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you don't get road rage, Ty.
Yeah, I feel nothing. And maybe it's because I'm making everyone around me angry. I always acknowledge that. That's possible, right? But I don't know it. Like, I think I'm a pretty defensive while also being aggressive driver. But I feel like there's probably people that have driven around me that are like, just freaking they're just angry all the time. Why is that? Driving's peaceful. I like driving. Maybe I would anger a lot of people.
I also rewatched Total Recall, and I understand, Cameron, why you wouldn't absolutely love it, but I really enjoyed it. But there was just
Running Man is so much better.
That little like creature guy. I can picture you just like being like, what am I watching?
I was like, what in the fudge am I watching?
Yeah, I love it. And also because you've seen the remake, and I actually enjoy it. Most people don't like it. I think the remake's great. It's very, I don't know, it's very different, but I'd say it has quite a few differences that. Because didn't you say you read the book, which isn't this old one?
No, see, I was supposed to read the book for my English class, but instead I watched the movie. I read like the Spark Notes on it, and then like read like a couple chapters, but yeah, and so I watched.
Did you choose The Hunt, Cameron, for film class? Was that required to watch a foreign film, and you made us watch The Hunt?
Well, no, I already was doing that for my film class.
Yeah, I figured as much.
But I mean, the Hunt's in my top 25. So.
No, it's a good movie. I was like, it is suspicious though. Like, where's this coming from? I always think there's an angle with you, Cameron. You're like, oh, it'll save me time. I don't have to watch a movie this week because I already had to do it for schoolwork. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I had a sneaking suspicion, is all.
And then I also watched what?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I watched Elf and Lied, which is like 11, but a lot more graphic. But I wasn't expecting it. It made
What's
me cry.
11?
He's
I don't
referring
even.
to 11 from
Oh,
Stranger
sorry,
Things.
from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Oh,
should have
okay, yeah,
clarified that.
okay.
Yeah, because
It's
it's a
like,
girl that
11,
has.
but yeah.
Yeah, she has telekinetic powers, and it's just like the most. Because I looked up online the most violent anime shows, and so I'm just going through them right now.
You can just look up
Did
good
you like
anime
it?
shows. You don't have to start with violence.
I
Jordan,
just
did you like it? I
uh,
can't tell if you like it or not.
like there's things I loved about it. I wish there wasn't so much because I just doesn't I don't
It's
like
un-
that. Yeah.
That's because then when people come walk in on you and you're like, it's it's beautiful, it's art.
It's not what it looks like.
It's not what it looks like.
It's
Yeah,
not what
you
it looks
sound
like.
like every one of my college roommates I had at school.
But yeah, other than that though, I mean the story and the characters were great, but yeah. I also watched Teen Wolf, which it's got Marty McFly and it's Cameron. It's actually so there's a lot of cheese to it, and
Why are you watching Teen Wolf?
I know you wouldn't like the cheese about it, but I think you would enjoy the basketball aspect of it because it's actually pretty clever when it comes to that. And then I watched Ty, have you seen Wheels on Mills? If you like Jackie Chan, it's one of his best. I mean, in my opinion, it's one of his better ones. It reminds me a lot of like Peter Sellers, Pink Panther, just like so much physical
I
comedy.
love Jackie Chan.
Very funny. And
Very
then
funny,
I
yeah.
watched a documentary about the life of Bruce Lee because I haven't watched any of his movies yet, and I'm like, why do people love him so much, and why is he such a master? And
And why
I
did
understand.
Tarantino throw him into a car?
Yeah, I know that's the like literally all I've seen about him.
Yeah.
And
And the
but
fight with Chuck Norris, right? You've seen that.
no, I mean I've seen clips or something, but I've never actually
Yeah.
seen the movie. But anyways, it was fun to hear Jackie Chan talk in the documentary. He's like, I literally did all the opposite of what Bruce Lee did because he's like, he had that confidence, and Jackie Chan, would kind of be more like, oh, I hurt myself kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like he
he's
would constantly be
yeah.
slipping up
Or
and
even the
making mistakes.
reluctant. Like Jackie Chan was always like, no, it's always a misunderstanding. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to fight, and then he
Yeah.
has to fight to,
And in weird, crazy ways. But whereas Bruce Lee's like confident and like super
Right.
brutal. And anyways,
You know what it reminds me of? This is probably a bad comparison. Yeah, it is. Like I was thinking of someone like Keanu Reeves. Like Jackie Chan reminds me of like a Keanu Reeves type, whereas Bruce Lee reminds me of a Tom Cruise type. So think of it that way, because both of them do stunts. Keanu Reeves is like super sweet and endearing, and Tom Cruise is like, I'm a cool action star, Speaking of Tom Cruise,
I
you guys
love
saw
Tom
that
Cruise
Ben
and Keanu
Stiller
We do
mimicking
not
Tom Cruise?
finish each other's sentences.
He's like, when he starts laughing
So
like him,
funny.
I
Oh
started
my
crying,
God.
dude. It's
that's
amazing.
amazing.
And that
Uh,
caught him off guard because that was
Ben
Tom Cruise
Stiller is an
genuinely
unhinged
laughing.
human.
He did not know he
Just
was
to
going to
make sure.
do that. He's like, yeah, it's like we know each other so well.
And-
We finish each other's sentences. He's like, I don't think we finished each other's sentences. And then he's like, he like giggles, and then Tom Cruise starts laughing, and he starts laughing like him. Oh my gosh, it was
And
so good. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And
Anyway,
then Drew
love Ben
asked me
Stiller.
who my favorite actor was, and when I said Nicolas Cage, I actually went back and I rewatched Mandy again today because I was just like so
Oh
excited.
man, you got to remind yourself like there's some acting talent hidden in there.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, but I also watched All Quiet on the Western Front finally because
Holy dude, what'd you
I-
think, dude?
it just it reminds me of The Road. Like I don't know why people like it. It's so depressing.
Oh, so
The
sad, dude.
Road is so good.
But it's good, but it is punishing.
It's good, but yeah,
it
it's
is
good, but
punishing.
it's just depressing.
Oh, dude, but wasn't that so good?
Well,
That
Well,
was
but there's
such a
nobody
powerful
to
film.
root for. You're like, oh, war is just horrible.
No one to root for. What about the guys all talking in that room? And he's like, "Look, sir, we need to talk, and we're gonna talk because every minute we spend here, our boys are dying." I love that.
Exactly. Like you don't want them to fight, and they're still like, even when he stabs that guy, and he's like, and then he like tries
Dude,
to like,
don't. Yeah, that scene, dude. I was in
exactly.
tears,
That's why
dude.
I'm like, like, because usually, and I'm just thinking like Starship Troopers, you're like, yeah, kill those bugs, but
Jordan, you do know that Starship Troopers is satire, right?
exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
And
But you're
Jordan's
like,
heck yeah, let's kill them. Let's exterminate them.
yeah, exactly. But this one's like, war
Wait,
is
who are you
horrible.
exterminating?
All Quiet on the Western Front is an amazing movie. Watch it. You
It's
guys,
just sad. War. I have a hard
I
time
watched
with
the
war
first
movies.
half. So good.
it's so good.
And
Oh.
and
I
then
love
last,
real quick. I love the
Jordan
depiction.
can see some.
Yeah.
Jordan can see some deranged baby smash a person's head into a wall.
One's real, one's not though.
Yeah, exactly. See, thank
Deranged
you.
baby, smash someone's head into a wall.
See,
That's
with
one
war,
description of
it's
barbarian.
sad to me because like that's real. I like horror movies because they're fake and they're fun.
But seeing a dude having like a ring in his basement is not sad.
That's disturbing.
It's disturbing and it's a movie. War, it's like that actually
You need
happened.
psychological help.
You seem to like be okay with real life violence, but not pretend, Cameron.
It's
There's a
it's a
difference, Jan.
documentary, you
Get
monkey
it?
brain.
Quentin Tarantino would disagree with
It's
you, Cameron.
fun,
Okay,
Jan.
it's fun, Jan. Okay, and then lastly is I won't get into it because we are definitely going to be reviewing on the pod, which is Jury Duty. It's literally The Office. It's amazing. Same producers.
It's not like Superstore, is it? You tried to get me to watch that one.
No. It's
Okay.
like the Truman Show meets The Office. It's
So
like
you pitched it, but you also pitched Rehearsal or Nathan for You.
and it's like that as well. So just watch
I'll
it.
be the judge of that. You did cry in Dungeons and Dragons after all, so I'm not sure if
I
you're
know.
the best.
I'll never be able to live that down. As soon as it happened, I'm like, no, I'm never gonna live this down.
What is this?
But
I mean,
but
that
James
was a tearjerker moment.
James
No, it's a sweet moment. Yeah.
James Marsden, Ty, he's so funny. I mean,
James
I
Marsden.
cannot
What
wait to
else is
talk about it.
What else is he in?
Exactly. That's
just a new guy?
literally what the guy next to him says. He's like, wait, so like, who are you? Like, and it's so funny
So now
because
he's gonna get famous, and yeah, it's like a
I've seen a trailer for that.
yeah, it's amazing.
okay.
Oh,
I'll
shoot.
check it out because
Yeah, you will die.
He's in the Notebook. He's in the Notebook.
It's
Oh, really?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the
He is. Yeah, that's
Ryan
funny. He says
Gosling?
that. He tells him, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm in the Notebook, and the girl's like, was he really in the Notebook?
Like, well, he ain't no Ryan Gosling. I'll
He
tell
was
you
also in Hop.
that.
It's so good. Anyways, I'm very
Hmm.
excited to talk about that because I know Ty's gonna be like, why aren't more people talking about this?
Yeah, because everyone's got to go watch Mandalorian season 3. Jack Black and Lizzo are in it.
I actually do love Jack Black. Maybe I'll check it out.
Oh no, I love Jack Black, but that's not enough to bring me to be like, I'm almost like Jack Black. I expect more from you, man. Hey, buddy, I'm just in a Star Wars movie. That's my best Jack Black impression. All right, buddy.
All right, Ty, what have
Great.
you
Yeah,
seen lately?
I also saw Untouchables. Cameron, love that movie. It's from the upside.
Check it
So
out.
I mentioned these a few weeks ago, but I ran through them so fast. The Fablemans was like the Steven Spielberg vehicle.
Yeah.
Jordan, watching it reminded me so much of us growing up
Yeah.
making films and stuff. And I'm almost like, dude, he has romanticized this. Like, he's probably old. I'm like, there's no way it happened like this.
Don't
I
you
get
love
that he's doing
to-
a dramatic version. Like the bully at school is like, you made me look cool. Why are you nice? He's like, all I wanted you was to be nice to me. And I'm like, dude, what happened was that guy gave you a swirly and make fun of you until you finally became a Hollywood director. And then you never reached out to him and he died. I just thought it was so funny that it was like so dramatic. And maybe it did happen that way, but I'm like, come on. But I also like that his parents weren't painted in a very nice light. I'm like, dude, he had a pretty rough childhood. He's got his mom is
nuts.
insane person and like dating and having a relationship.
Don't spoil it.
with
Cameron hasn't watched it yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, is it a spoiler? I guess it is a spoiler. So yeah, I won't get into it. But
Watch it, Cameron.
just watch it because I actually really liked it. I thought it was well done, narratively speaking. I'm like, yeah, that's still Steven Spielberg, a little bit more intimate, and I like that because BFG and Warhorse and I don't know what else he's made. It just feels so distant, feels cold and studio calculated.
I like how he portrays Christians too.
How he portrays what?
Christians, just like total weirdo.
Oh yes, that's a great one. Yes, as a Jew, it's really funny to watch him be like, because you watch it and you're like, I have seen Christians like that.
Jesus.
But dude, to be fair, like
people are brutal in high school.
Yeah. In high school, yeah. Anything different than
I'm just saying the girl though when he was visiting her. And
well, I almost thought it was funny where I was like, I'm like, maybe to Steven Spielberg's credit, maybe he worked backwards. He's like, okay, people used to call me Bagelman. What if I just made Fableman as our fake last name? Because Spielberg sounds nothing like Bagel. So maybe he worked backwards from a racist epithet and thought like, hey, Bagel man, that's what they called me. So we call him the Fablemans. And then it made sense when they rhymed his name with Bagelman. Because anyway, I thought that was funny. I liked it. And I even love the ending. There's a really funny ending where he finally gets to meet one of his heroes and he's like, if your horizon is at the bottom of the screen, it's interesting. If your horizon is at the top of the screen, it's interesting. If your horizon's right in the middle, it's boring as shit. And then he's like, "Good luck." Like he finally gets to meet his hero, and that's all he says to him, and it's so funny. So definitely check it out. And it's played. Jordan, did you recognize him?
Yeah, David Lynch.
It's David Lynch, dude. I was like, that's brilliant. I love it.
I didn't
Bring
recognize him, but somebody
No,
said
of
that.
course you. How could you not recognize him? Yeah, I just
No.
looked at him IMDb, and I'm like, that's freaking David
Yeah.
Lynch. I thought that was crazy. So, that was good. And then, dude, you need to watch Significant Other. It's got the girl that did It Follows. It's a sci-fi horror. You guys need to watch it. It's an indie, and it has a really it reminds me of Barbarian, but it's more like Ritual meets like a sci-fi horror. Please watch it, guys. Significant Other. I don't know where it's playing. I watched it on either I watched it on the airplane. Now that I think about it,
It's
it
on
may
Paramount
not be
Plus.
Oh shoot, it's on Paramount.
And it's
Significant
only
Other
got a
was
5.7. Oh, Ty, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
That's the thing, Jordan, though. You know this better than anyone. Horror movies are like really poorly rated.
Unless they're masterpieces. Yeah.
Or just not understood.
That's a good point.
If they're so
Brings
out
it
there and
forward, yeah.
artistic, you know, Green Knight and somewhat Lighthouse, but Lighthouse was beautiful. I don't know what I'm comparing that to. But like, oh no, people didn't like Lighthouse, did they? At
No,
least
it has
critics
good
did.
reviews, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, oh yeah. So Significant Other, highly recommend it because it's a really good sci-fi horror, which I really enjoyed. And it has a really good compelling story. You know, it kind of reminds me of like
you already
10
sold me
Cloverfield
on
Lane.
What's her name? I really like Mikai.
Oh yeah, the one that plays It Follows. And I'm like, dude, she kind of reminds me of Anya Taylor-Joy a little bit, where she's playing like almost typecast as like very interesting sad protagonist, you know.
Yeah.
She does a really good job in this movie, and she's great. And I keep thinking like she would be a way better actress, and she is a better actress than Brie Larson. So why is Brie Larson famous and she isn't as famous as Brie Larson?
Don't even mention her name. Ugh.
I know, but she looks like her. Like they look like they could be sisters.
Don't even say that.
The new
Stop.
Captain Marvel movie looks so bad.
Yeah, yes,
So bad.
It does. It looks laughably bad. But see, like, who's gonna go see that? I mean, going straight to D plus, man, because it got a D plus rating, dude. It's awful. Anyway, Significant Other. It's good. It's really good.
Add it to the list.
It's just you know what I like about it? It's like a movie that you'll be like, hey, I didn't expect that, and it was different, and I'm thinking about it after I watched it. Whereas most of the other movies I see these days that are safe and play in the middle of the road are just boring. This one has its horizon at the bottom or the top. It doesn't have it right in the middle. So and yeah, that's enough. I like I said, Confess
and
Flesh
Evil
was
Dead
a good
Rise,
John
just tell
Hamm
us your
movie.
thoughts.
Dude, okay, so real quick, Cameron, are you gonna watch it or not?
He'll never watch it.
Okay, you'll never watch
demon
it.
stuff.
Evil Dead was great.
might.
Evil
If
Dead
it's
Rise,
good, I
sorry.
I don't mind.
I did think it was a little funny though. I don't know if you can kill someone with a drone. Maybe you can.
I know
not sure you
that's
can.
always cracks me up when
I
they do
always see it
that.
in
I'm
movies
like,
and I'm
is
like-
this a comedy? I love when
Like
they do
every
that.
drone I've ever seen, it freaking breaks like a toy, and then this
Yeah.
one's just like it could cut your
It's
head
like,
off. I'm like, maybe I know there are drones that can, but the little dinky toy one that he's flying around ain't no way, no how. Anyway, but maybe because it was possessed by a demon, that's why it killed. But no, she killed herself. Did
Yeah,
you
she
see?
killed herself. It was so weird.
That was a really dumb too. Like I
Yeah.
kind of wanted her to. I wanted her to kill him with the drone. But wait, did she kill him with the drone? What happened to the boyfriend?
No,
at the
he went in
beginning?
the water and then he's like got sucked under and ran.
Yeah. Oh, but he dove in after her.
Yeah.
After she stabbed herself. I mean, I guess you could try. It was his girlfriend after all. But yeah. Anyway, I did like the Evil Dead Rise
Title, yeah, right behind
title.
the trees.
She like
Yeah, that
rises
was
out of the
cool.
water. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool when you like do something different. And then it's not an Evil Dead movie without a double barrel shotgun, boomstick. It's not an Evil Dead
Chainsaw.
movie without a chainsaw. It's not an Evil Dead movie without evil possessed people.
Technically, I don't
haunting
think it's an
you.
Evil Dead movie without Bruce Campbell, but that's okay.
That's a good point. Yeah. But well, he did produce it, so he
That's
had a hand in
true.
it, and so does Sam Raimi. So like they had their hand in it, and I think they're kind of like happy that like someone else is coming in and kind of like
Yeah.
doing something, like And it's cool because you know what I like about it? Like it did a good job at just being like, oh, this is like a different story in that universe, but without being like, oh, like it's all the things from the universe. It's
Yeah.
like there's similarities, but like in this world, it's like the evil just is always lurking. And then when it sees an opportunity, it infects the family or whatever, and it just wreaks havoc. And I like that aspect of it, where it's like it's in that universe, and I really like that they go there. So I'm going to say some spoilers, Cameron. I don't know if you care, or Drew, if you care, but Evil Dead Rise, spoiler warning. You don't care. It's great because the
Army of
kids
Darkness is
die
the
in
only
this
thing that's
movie,
been
and
good.
that never happens in movies.
We can't hear you. You got to hold the mic closer to your mouth.
Wait, really?
I was just
I'm
saying,
like,
the only thing that's ever been good that's been made is Army of Darkness.
oh, it's a great movie. Oh wait,
Well,
like by
but
Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi, or
but I don't think
Spider-Man's good.
Yes.
you didn't
Spider-Man's
like the
good.
Spider-Mans, Toby.
I'm saying a Bruce Campbell, you monkey brains.
But
Well, he's in those
in each of the
movies.
Spider-Man movies. He plays a great cameo.
Yeah, he plays cameos.
He was also a
He-
cameo in Multiverse of
He doesn't
Madness.
have a role, you monkey.
It is a role.
It
He's the
is a role.
cage fighter. He's a restaurant owner and a theater chauffeur, whatever you call it, a theater. Anyway, ticket taker. So yeah, but I'm curious to think what you think. Like, did the movie scare me? No, I don't get scared anymore, to be honest. But I did have some unsettling feelings during it, where I was like, oh my gosh, like one big horror movie dumb mistake. It's like you see your evil infected mother through the eye hole, the keyhole, or whatever, the peephole or
Yeah,
whatever
she
in the
just
door,
opens it up.
and she's like, let me in. I'm feeling much better now. And she's like,
Well,
okay, mommy.
bec-
And I'm like, that child would be screaming. There's no way that daughter opens that door.
Okay,
Get out of here.
well, in the old one, they would turn back to their normal self and look like they used to.
Yes.
And that's when
Didn't
you're
do
like,
that in this
oh,
one.
they're fine. Yeah, this
This
one, she
one,
was still like,
still yellow eyes, still gray skin. It was like,
I'm all
mommy
better
said-
now. It's like, I
And
don't
she's
think
like-
so.
Like, okay, open it. Mind you, she watched the mommy. Like, what did she do? She killed someone. She killed the
killed
three
3
men
people.
in the hallway. She
Yeah.
probably didn't see that though. The young girl, what did she see? She saw the mom contort. She saw her mom fly out of the bathtub, do all these terrifying things. Anyway, it was kind of funny. There's
But-
always a bad horror movie decision, and I'm like, that was one of them for sure.
What-
But I liked the character arc, and I liked how the mom died, and then the 2 kids died, and then it was just the one girl, and then the other girl learning how to be a good mother. And I'm like, this is a really good horror movie.
Yeah.
Good characters.
I rewatched the scene where she opens up the book for the first time and is playing on the record. It's such a
Yeah.
great scene. That's so much fun.
And it's not an Evil Dead movie without the Book of the Dead.
Yes.
Etched in skin, of flesh.
It's
Dude,
just so creepy.
I liked the priest and doing the record
Yes.
turntable. I thought that was kind of fun, bringing
Yeah.
it back, because they weren't dumb enough to recite it. In fact, he was like listening to it, and then he's playing it, and he's like tried to turn it off,
Yeah.
and then it keeps coming through the speaker, and he's like trying to shut up. I like that. I love
Yeah.
that. Like once you've awakened it, it just comes for you. And then like I even like it where it's like floating over the lake, and it just takes a hard detour. But then at the end of the movie, it's revealed like, oh, the one couple at the end or at the very beginning of the movie is the one that got infected from the story we just watched. So
Yeah.
it's like there's stuff before and there's stuff after, and it just kind of lets you know like this is going to keep going, which makes me actually I really want to watch the first Evil Dead remake.
Baby.
Was it
Baby.
good? Did you like it?
I liked it, but it's
Yeah.
kind of has very. I feel like most people don't.
Oh, okay.
It has some people that like it, but that's because I like all of Fede's work. I mean, he creates a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, like
If it's anything like Evil Dead Rise, so did you like Evil Dead Rise more than the first one though?
well, no. So I'd rank it like this: Army of Darkness. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Actually,
Hop
just
off.
those
Evil
first
Dead 2.
It's
No,
so
I know.
hard.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like with the new ones, does it compare to the first or
Hi,
this
Cameron.
Evil Dead remake? Hey, Cam, Drew, thanks for coming on.
Now I'm like Evil Dead 2, maybe. Evil Dead
No,
1.
no. Put the old ones aside. Just the 2 new ones. Did you like this?
Evil Dead Rise is
or
way better than
the first one.
Yeah,
Oh,
his.
okay.
I was
Little
gonna
more
say
good.
his is on the very bottom of the list of all the Evil Deads.
Okay.
I
Well, how
enjoyed
many
it.
are there? There's 3, right? There's Army. Well, so there's Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2. Then there's Army of Darkness.
And then there's
then
the
the
Evil Dead
remake.
remake. And
Yeah,
then
and then
there's Evil
Evil
Dead
Dead
Rise, and there's the TV show as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yes. That is.
Which that first episode is solid. The rest of the show is kind of has good moments, but it's like Sam
Yeah.
Raimi really is the one that brought that to life.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Bruce, they work perfect together. And they should just
It's
they should
probably
always.
because like, now that Bruce is like a famous B actor, it's almost hard where you can't like tell him what to do because he's done the character for so long. I feel like Sam Raimi tortures Bruce, and that's what you need when you watch Evil Dead,
Right? Yeah.
No. and also like mocks him, because I wonder how much of it is self-depreciating and how much of it is Sam Raimi like busting his chops. Like there's like literally a scene where he puts in dentures and he smiles.
Well,
It's so good.
well,
Like
one of my
it makes
favorite
you laugh.
interviews with Bruce Campbell is there's a moment where he said he said working with Sam, he said all the time, all of a sudden he'd be on set and then he'd just start giggling. And then Bruce is like, oh no. And then
Oh
he's
no.
like, I just thought of a good line that you're gonna say. And then he said on the day of the set, he's like, this is when he's gonna say, Hail to the King, baby, and give me some sugar, baby. He said he came up with that on the spot, and he just said he was giggling in the corner because he's like, I just thought of what you're gonna say. I love
So
their dynamic.
I love it. Like he's almost teasing, and then like a great. I remember one of the stories where he was getting the blood that was pouring down on him. Like they had like an industrial sized funnel,
Yeah, and just
and the funnel
gallons.
came down, and he goes, it whiplashed his head. Like he wasn't expecting it, and after it was done, he stormed out. He was like, I literally got hurt with all your stupid antics. Like not cool. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like true friendship, where he's like, Sam Raimi's just like, come on, we got to do it for the shot. And he's just like, screw your shot. I'm going to get injured here,
Yeah.
like, and it made me think of us doing that stupid scene in that pawn shop where I'm climbing up the steps
And
and
he almost fell
and I
through this.
fell through the steps, folks. This is a true story. Fell through the steps and I caught myself. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not filming this anymore. I'm out of here. Like I was like,
But
this
then
is
I'm there, like, come on, Ty, just a couple more shots. We're almost
just a few
done.
more shots. Come
You
on,
were
dude, we gotta
so
get it.
mad.
I was just like, I nearly died. No, my shin was killing me. So like,
Yeah.
guys, like, how do I explain this? I fell through a creaky old wooden staircase, like in a horror movie, guys. Monster house, you fall through the step, terrifying. And then you catch yourself, and so now I'm like, I'm shaking, I'm frazzled, and I'm injured. And Jordan's like, keep going, Ty. I didn't say cut. He's like, in fact, we could work that shot into the story, maybe. No.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
did.
I know you did.
Great. Too bad we
But
didn't
anyway,
finish the movie though.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the insult to injuries. All my pain, it didn't lead to anything. The movie never got made. But I love it. It's the Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I did think like,
I just kind of miss the humor.
yeah,
I did
I
enjoy
agree.
it.
Yeah, I agree. I wish I like that the annoying the feminist save the planet daughter died. It's like, you're annoying and your character died. Perfect. Loved it.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I'm glad they didn't spend a lot of time on that. It was just fun. I like the atmosphere. I know Red Letter Media doesn't like the creepy building. I love it. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun
Yeah.
atmosphere. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
bill, it was crazy though, where it was like underground, the bank vault. Like I think about that a lot now, where I'm
Yeah,
like, that was kind of ridiculous.
it
But
was,
like,
but it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah,
I was like, I'm just in this to have fun, turn my brain off.
yeah. And like I said, as much as like, yeah, dumb movie decisions, it's like, we just had an earthquake and I'm gonna go down this hole that
Yeah.
was just created, this rift in it. But I get it. I get like there's a whole bank vault underneath. That's very interesting, So I'm like, okay, that's very odd. Like the creator or the person that owned it, and then he's like trying to try the safety deposit
Yeah.
boxes. I'm like, yeah, like you're gonna find treasure and
The
money
money?
there. Yeah, and money.
I
An
love that kind of
abandoned
excited look,
bank.
like maybe there's some treasure down here.
Exactly. And then all he finds is the Book of the Dead. Funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's like
And
the
I
only
just
thing.
love it's like surrounded by tons of crosses and like everything's screaming, do not
Do
open
not
this. And he's
open
like so
this.
excited. I love it.
And then like immediately cuts his fingers trying to open it with the teeth thing, and then
Yeah.
like the blood gets in it, and it's like, I'm alive again. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That
very
was
funny.
so cool. The book,
Yeah.
everything, that whole scene, that sequence.
Did the book have the teeth on the side? I don't know if I've seen that.
No,
'Cause it usually has the
that
face. It always has that like sad face.
not that one.
Yeah.
There's like different books, I guess.
Oh, there are different books of the dead. See, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think
that one looks
so.
more like the Monster Book of Monsters from Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah, it kind of does, but
Yeah.
it kind of looked like at
The
least
treasure chest from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I just keep going, yeah.
Well, in Army of Darkness, remember there's like 3 books? 3 books. Nobody said anything about 3 books.
Oh, dude. So that's one of the 3 books. It's one of the
Maybe.
other
I
3
don't
books.
know. That's
I
just
love it.
but
That's funny. That'd be good lore. But I guess it would have resulted in him getting sucked into a black hole, and then the other one
But I love the design and
attacking.
artwork of those because like as the pages were opening, they're just so creepy and disturbing
Yeah, yeah.
looking.
You're like, someone had a field day being like, I want you to draw some like really messed up images. So you have like people like on crosses, demons, and
That
fire and everything. Yeah.
well, there's something so cool about the Necronomicon. Like I just think it's such
Yeah.
a interesting, fun idea.
Yeah, it's larger than life. Like, oh, the Book of the Dead is bound in flesh, always mentioned
Human
every time.
flesh,
Like,
yeah,
bound
inked
in
in
human
blood.
flesh, inked in blood. Yes, it's always the staple, and that's just a creepy vibe, where because I think they did that in Cabin in the Woods, didn't they? Literally mention by name the Necronomicon, or
I
like
don't think so.
when they go in
Maybe.
the basement, wasn't it one of the items? Maybe I
I
have
mean,
to go
there's a
see
lot of
Cabin in the
items
Woods.
down there. Maybe
Right.
there was one
They
of the
do read the
items. I don't.
story though. Yeah, they read the story of like the cursed child or something. I can't remember, but anyway, good stuff.
It's a
The
fun
Evil Dead
movie.
Rise. Yeah, go check out Evil Dead Rise. Now I'm gonna go watch the other Evil Dead. And it's really funny. So I'll mention on the podcast, Bryce watched Terrifier 1 and 2 and loves them. And I know
I do
you
too.
like that. I know you like the Terrifier. And I was like, what is it about Terrifier? He's like, I'm gonna be watching it every year now on Halloween. I'm like, it's super
Yes.
messed up, but like I am curious to see the second one because he likes the second one a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And do you like the second one as
Oh
well?
yeah. Monumentally better.
I don't know if I can put myself through that. Those movies are so terrifying. Ugh,
If you're a fan of slasher, you got to be a fan of slasher. You're that's not
that's
like
a good
really
point.
your
It isn't.
shtick.
But I like the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I like the first Friday
You
the
like Victor
13th.
Crowley. I think you like the best of those.
That's a good point. I like a well-done slasher. I
Yeah.
like a staple slasher. And then there's a point where, yeah, I like the first Saw movie. That's really funny. It's like, oh yeah, I know why I don't like the 10th Saw movie. I know why I don't like the 18th Friday the 13th.
Announced a 10th Saw movie. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go see it.
Case in point. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's so funny. Is Chris Rock going to be in it again?
No, thank goodness. I hope not. Ugh. His spiral was trash.
I know, but didn't he want to be in a Saw movie like more than anything? That was like
I don't care.
one of his dreams.
And he ruined the 4th season of Fargo. Stop ruining shows that I like.
Jordan's like, Will Smith should have slapped him harder. This was for
Spiral.
And this one, and he backhands him. This one's for Fargo season 4. That's so funny. No, we're bad people. Folks, this has been so fun. Thanks for indulging us talking about movies. I love it. And then last thing I would say that I watched before we end, I have to go to my list. Or maybe I didn't even write it down.
What was it?
What was it? What was it?
What's in the box? What's in the freaking
dude?
box?
I wrote notes about Significant Other, so please go check that one out.
I'll check it out. I'm going to.
It's on Paramount Plus. Do we have Paramount Plus? We should get it just for a day to watch Significant Other. Everybody, this has been Futro Hidden Movie Gems. Thanks so much for tuning in. We love you, listeners. If you like us, leave us an email, leave us a comment. Tell us a movie that you'd like us to review. Tell us how woke our guests are, particularly the Grant with the red shirt. You're not wrong, listener. Our little whiny little brother, he's so woke. Can't stand him. We pretty much have all the same politics here on the podcast. But I love writers. Guys, keep leaving the comments. I love it. And keep watching. And if you guys see a movie that you haven't seen, or sorry, if there's a movie that we haven't reviewed here, you like us to review, leave us a comment and leave us an email at futuromovies@gmail.com. See you later. Bye.
Peace.
It's acid jello gelatinous thing. Where's Drew when I need him? Later.